What's up, sad boys?
Welcome to another Punk Goes, where we go song v song, album v album, try to figure out the best and ultimate covers from the Punk Goes series. This week we have probably the two most dynamic and exciting contenders. I'm talking about Punk Goes 90s Volume 1 versus the infamous Punk Goes Crunk. What I would consider the peak of the Punk Goes series. Not saying it's the best, just saying this was like the height of the hype. 2008, the scene was going strong.
The album covers already look better.
A little bit of effort. It's definitely better than their tendencies for album covers in the later years. Went from like a bold impact font to like a light Arial font. Then we brought back the impact. But the crowd, they're just as excited as ever. Just like I'm excited to get into these two albums. It's time to go Son v Son, way back from 2006, interpreting the 90s. What I really appreciate about this one is just how energetic it is and how true it is. It just translates it enough to make it feel Punk Goes.
Yeah, I think this is literally the epitome of what the Punk Goes series is trying to be. I love Nine Inch Nails, and when someone does them justice.
Yeah, someone other than Asking Alexandria does them justice. But then the question is this cover better than Set Your Goals doing a Little John song? This album takes a slightly different approach. This is specifically aping Crunk, and as you can feel, this album already feels a little more ironic.
Dated.
If you don't remember Crunk, if you weren't born yet, Little John.
A rap song shouldn't be 5 minutes long.
That's true.
That's all I want.
And a lot of that early stuff, it is 5 minutes just because all the guest verses. Of course, TikTok has kind of forced songs to get shorter and shorter. This is funny. It's cute. It does not feel like Set Your Goals, and it gets a little tiresome after a while. Yeah. So my vote is strongly for the March of the Pigs cover.
I agree.
I'm glad we're not in contention for the first one. It's a 90s song. It's one of the 90s songs. By who? I don't know. It's all a blur. This was a very unoffensive cover. I can tell you 100%, say what you want about Crunk, none of these are copy and paste. This one continues the theme of them being slightly ironic, a little tongue-in-cheeky, because you kind of have to be when you're a bunch of white boys covering Dirty Old Bastard. But unlike the first song, I feel like Matt Bemis is clever enough to pull off the vocal performance required. Like the Yoda rapping in Set Your Goals is funny for a verse. Matt's is theatrical enough to keep up the character throughout the whole song. And I think there's enough jokes in here that really makes it stand out as something more creative than just a silly cover.
Max is hilarious. He has a very John LaJoie feel to it in this. You can call me Bemis. The way he skirts around, the N-word. It's very clever, very funny. Is this entertaining for us because we like Say Anything? And if we liked the previous band more, would we have enjoyed that 5 minutes?
I do also feel like there should be a lot of credit given to the song choice itself, because Dirty Old Bastard isn't necessarily Crunk. When you ask me who should cover song 2, yeah, the Plain White Tees, yeah, that's it. This feels almost inspired to me, but does that make it better?
I enjoyed it more.
I would be really sad if the One Say Anything song didn't make it onto the playlist, so I'm not gonna argue that. Sometimes I feel I don't have a partner. I think the Gym Class Heroes are a lot better than they ever got credit for. I really enjoy, especially the Paper Cut Chronicles. They are the only ones that I've come across so far, maybe besides Set Your Goals, that adds their own verse, that adds their own input to the song.
Wish it was a little bit taller, I wish it was a baller, I wish I had a girl who looked good, I would call her, I wish I had a rabbit.
While I enjoy the hook, because the hook is hooky as all hooks, I don't really appreciate the flow. It feels clumsy, and the auto-tune feels a little messy.
Don't ever add autotune to anything ever. No.
Well, I don't think that's true.
No.
Autotune is a tool that you can use to enhance your voice, and it's only as prevalent as you allow it to be. To get this artificial sound, you have to physically set the processor to make it sound like this. And that's why Gym Class Heroes is going on the playlist. I did not know that you can make that song any more slower and dour than it already is.
This is the wrong way to do it. Don't like it.
This is a fucking shame to Chris Cornell's memory.
Now that's how you white boy rap.
This is how you elevate a rap song, I think, in the punk pop genre. You take punk pop elements and then you take your resources and what you're good at and you infuse it, inject it into the chorus. Now, instead of feeling like a smooth ending credits song, it has almost power behind it. Like, I want to fucking do Men in Black stuff.
It's got a good flow. The rapping's actually competent in it. It's not annoying. I didn't notice the autotune.
What did I say last time? The closer the albums are in release date, the more evenly stacked they are. So far, we are 1-to-1 with these two albums. Will that change with our number 5 pick? I believe this is our second entry by Hit the Lights. This one just doesn't really stand out.
It doesn't hit my lights.
I don't really know the original. Don't have a connection to it. Enjoy Hit the Lights. Don't really have a connection to this.
It just feels like a Friends theme song. You had me in the first half, and then you gave me that second half.
Well, and you can see that, like, 5 songs in, we're not really doing crunk anymore.
Yeah.
Tupac, Dirty Old Bastard, Will Smith.
Yeah, Will Smith. Will Smith's a good man. He just doesn't crunk.
California Love, this very sporadic, not always working cover versus a cover that I forgot we even listened to.
Towards the dice.
Dice, you want to roll for it? I will roll for Hey Jealousy, and Nikki will roll for My American Heart.
Oh boy.
I got a 3.
I got a 1.
Whoa, Hit the Lights. Congratulations.
Pew pew. You need like a vuvuzela and then a big pee pee.
Yeah, we need a big
pee
pee.
pee.
Emery comes in, classing up the fucking joint. They were holding out for a hero in the 80s, but in the 90s, all they want is to feel this way. I'm extremely biased. I like Emery. I like this cover.
I was bored.
It feels very Postal Service to me, and I think it just adds like a maturity to the production that Punk Goes rarely has.
Okay.
In case the original has been lost to the sands of time, you may remember Akon's original vision for this was I wanna f you. As in, I see this stripper and she's looking in my eyes and she knows I wanna f that stripper. I wanna f good. But for the radio version, they switched it to I Wanna Love You, trying to play it off as some sort of love story. And I gotta say, I never fucking bought that love story until now.
Gross lyrics, but they sound so sweet and so sincere.
And the production is really good. That acoustic guitar is just bouncing over it. And I know you like it more than Emery. Speaking of classing up the playlist, I don't think you can get any more classy than REM. How did you feel about this emo metalcore interpretation from Scene Kings of yesteryear? Scary kids scaring young children.
I really liked that they sped it up because the original is
Dour.
it's dour, but like that's the point of it, and I get it.
This still has that like morose tone to it. The guitar work is excellent in it. The vocal performance. I forgot about this cover, and I have to say this is like one of the reasons that Punk Goes means anything to me, because they can bring these together. They can bring Chiodos and Harvey Danger together. They can make it happen. Let's see if our next Crunk cover can go toe to toe with what was probably one of the best covers we're gonna find.
I be on it all night, man. I be on it all
answer is
day
no.
straight. I be on that shit that I have you on it. I don't want no more. At this time, I need all my freak hoes.
I've always found this one slightly obnoxious.
Slightly?
But I do think this is the best and most representative song of the punk or crunk era, and it is not a good place to go back to. Unlike REM, one of the finest wines you can drink down through your ear holes. There's always that guy who wants to play Wonderwall and Cartel. They said, hey, we'll be those guys. We'll play Wonderwall. I feel like they are doing everything they can to put out a good performance. And while it is a brilliant performance, it's still Wonderwall. Your tolerance for the original matters when it comes to the cover of it, regardless of how connected you are to the band covering it.
It's Wonderwall.
They did it. They played it. Embarrassingly, I would like to admit that Punk Goes Crunk is the only one of any of these albums that I bought physically. For whatever reason, I thought it'd be funny. The songs that they previewed were good enough to make me think this is the one that I want on physical media. The disappointment I remember feeling when most of these is just forgettable fluff of like, I don't, it's funky, it's nice, I don't know the original, the Roots are a good band, so I trust that like, it's a good song. I don't know personnel. I can't really get into it. It's a dour. I wanted fun, either ironic or competently made covers of crunk songs, and this is fundamentally not that.
It's none of the above. Give it to Wonderwall.
Fuck, Wonderwall. You're gonna get demolished in our next round, I hope.
Would she go down on you in a movie theater?
I did not think you could get any more bitchy than Alanis Morissette's performance. There's a good amount of like oomph in it that like gave it the punch that this song definitely needs.
I could feel the pettiness, and
Yes.
I love that.
Did you ever think you could conceive of a flow so smooth while screaming? Did you think that was possible to scream rap?
No, and I will give it to our Jesus and Friends for doing that.
I think the aspect of who the Devil Wears Prada is makes this more
Funny.
fun. It makes it more fun. Do you like it more than the You Oughta Know?
Oh,
I do. I like Still Fly, so you can fucking bounce to this.
We're rolling.
We're rolling? Oh no. The Devil Wears Prada, Your Life is in My Hands. You Oughta Know, and The Killing Mood is in hers. Fly. 6. A 1. Crunk, I asked for you to come and clutch you did.
Okay.
Some of these I have no recollection of ever listening to, and that's because I probably did it once, said, I'm good, and then just left it off my iPod.
Never have to listen to it again.
Let's see what Punk Goes Crunk is offering. So yes, Umbrella has 100% destroyed whatever the fuck the other song was.
I don't even remember what it was.
This feels so at home in All-Time Low, which were at their all-time high. It's 2008. You read All-Time Low covering Umbrella, and you're like, all right, that's going to be a joke. And then you turn it on, and you're like, oh, the production is fucking solid. His voice is on point.
Ella, A has made it to our playlist.
Amberlin's fine. This is a great Depeche Mode song. Though, if you've heard the Evergreen Terrence cover of this song, Amberlin just doesn't quite bring anything new to it.
But unfortunately, it's just a copy-paste of what Depeche Mode's already beautifully done. Why did you cough in the middle of my sentence?
So this cover takes a very different approach, adding new instrumentals and backing vocals to it, making it feel like a more dynamic and full production. The decision we need to make is Notorious Thugs, this version of it, better and more enjoyable than Amberlin's Enjoy the Silence. Okay, you like Enjoy the Silence?
I do.
Okay, we'll add it. Okay, so, how do we, so the original was by a man named Brian. We no longer talk about Brian. We don't indulge Brian. We don't listen to him, but he did make some songs that impacted us thoroughly at a very young age. And it's hard to detach the nostalgia that one feels from the feelings that they currently have. So like we've done for other songs, I've suggested that you take the new version and have it replace the original. Have it knock it out of our memories and history and have this be the one and only Beautiful People.
This was the very first Brian song I heard, and I was listening to Brian's music since I was 12 years old. This lovely band, 18 Visions.
Very lovely.
But I do believe that they could replace. I love Snoop Dogg, and I have such a nostalgia for this specific song. It was in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
When trying to decide between this and Beautiful People, the purpose of this is to replace the original. Would you ever want the original of this replaced?
No.
They threw a Starting Line song on here for some reason. It says a cover. I don't know.
I think that was a mistake.
I like the Starting Line, so it's like if you just like the band, then I guess this cover's good, but it's nothing interesting or it doesn't really stand out. And it seems weird following Beautiful People. What does Crunk have to offer us?
So much trauma in the ALB. It's kind of hard being sober in the HRC.
I love Snoop Dogg.
More Snoop Dogg, the laid back Snoop Dogg, Snoop
Some
Dogg,
indica.
Gin and Juice, or the Starting Line.
I gotta keep my money on my mind, so.
I'm okay with that. So they say, you may remember, covered Forever Young on our 80s. A good standard Nirvana song that I have always found to be kind of a slog.
Oh.
What if the song was done by someone who could play the guitar and someone that could sing in a key?
What? You're telling me that Kurt Cobain died for our sins and you don't think he can sing in key?
Kurt Cobain is a very smart, ingenious, introspective individual that was taken far too soon. But he could not play his fucking instrument, and he didn't care. And that's okay. And that's what Nirvana was. It was anti-music. That's probably my most controversial take. Nirvana. Bleh. Hey.
Yeah.
Cover Roses, you fucking cowards.
Oh, God.
Hey Ya is just, it's one of the greatest, most joyous songs to ever be written in the history of music, with a performance so smooth by Andre 3K. Lauren Drive had the upbeat bounce that the song needs, but I don't think it added anything to the song.
Nah.
Whereas In Bloom added the layer of the instrumentation.
Yeah, cleaned it up a lot.
Oh, the blooms. We have come to our last song. Very rarely do the albums actually line up with having the same amount of songs. Jumper is our final offering from the 90s.
Wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. You could.
I feel very similar to this as I do Wonderwall. It's like, as much as you can tolerate it or affection you have for the original, Jumper was kind of made of a meme in Yes Man with Jim Carrey. So it's like, it's hard to take it seriously, even though I think the lyrical quality is very important.
But the lead singer has quite the range.
Yeah.
And he shows it off very well here.
And will Newfound Glory deserve any credit for this?
Take me to another place. Take me to another land.
Don't talk to Jesus in your songs.
It's funny that you didn't have to say that to The Devil Wears Prada on this album. Newfound Glory, the song cover Keens. This isn't one of their better ones. I don't know the original. To end, Punk Goes Crunk, an album that had 3 Crunk songs on it at the most.
Yeah.
To end that album with a soft acoustic rendition of a country-ish rap song, like, it really deflates the ending, but I don't know where else you could place this song on the album, so it just felt like, fuck it, we have to put it last.
But then don't put it on there if that's your thing, you know?
You can kind of see why this is like the tipping point for them. Those songs that are good on here are really good. The Umbrellas, the Still Flies, but everything else is really bad. It's like the lows and the highs. For me, this is really when the albums start to dip. Jumper?
I want to wear one, and I'll put it on the playlist. There it is, folks.
And here is our final playlist. Quite a few more Crunk songs than I would have guessed. But looking at it now, these are the good ones. And these are the reason why I bought the album in the first place.
You were duped.
Which is why it is so disappointing when you get in there and hear just like all the other mediocre covers. And that is exactly why we are doing this. So we can get the cream of the crop, the best of the best. And apparently this is the best.
I'm surprised about the ratio of songs. So we have 6 Punk Goes Crunk songs and 9 Punk Goes 90 songs, which is, I think, a closer ratio than we've had before.
Yeah. This playlist will go up against our combined playlist of Punk Goes Metal and Punk Goes 92 versus Punk Goes 80s and Punk Goes Classic Rock. I assure you, I have thought this through at some point during this process. Our next video will be Punk Goes Pop Volume 3 versus Punk Goes Pop Volume 5.
You
All
mind
alone.
Pop Goes Punk 4.
They'll get their chance, but they're gonna have to sit there and wait. Now that we've gone through all the retro songs, do you feel like there's a reason for having 7 pop albums?
No, they suck. The retro side's clearly the better contender here.
There seems to be more room to play.
They're fun songs. How many fun pop songs do you know?
So at this stage, do you predict that when we get down to it, to our very final playlist, will there be more songs from our retro side on it than the pop side?
Yes.
I'm very curious to see that, but we are several videos away, several playlists away. Do you agree? Do you disagree with our playlist? Which covers would you have put on instead? What 2 albums would you pit against one another? Please tell me below. I'm Grayson Todd. Thank you for watching.
I'm Nyx.
Stay posy, stay swazy, listen to some good shit, and we'll check ya next time. Check, 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 check.